I would like to introduce Salvatore DeGeorge. Salvatore is the founder of the Boston Catering Leaders Taskforce. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here and speak on behalf of catering professionals throughout New England. I've been in the industry for 30 years, and prior to this task force that started in April, we had the Director of Catering Quarterly Summit. That organization, founded by me, we would talk about industry standards, protocol, best practices, policies, procedures, voice of the customers, as well as trends. In April, a lot of those colleagues of mine that started that organization, the DOC Summit, for 13 years, we were collectively speaking about the pandemic situation and realized it was time for us to step up and create new industry standards in the catering arena for food and beverage service, venues, setup, logistics. The organization comprises of 25 of us, so we can meet social distancing in person. They all submit their different researches, protocols, best practices, policies, and procedures of innovation to create new catering industry standards in the Boston area. Our objective is to be the envy of the country of Boston being innovative and in the forefront of new norms and new procedures. Our objective is to get on the other side of this pandemic and forever, ever have new catering standards in the industry, pandemic or not, just better best practices of hygiene and protocol. Our industry for years, in the 30 years I've seen it, we've changed the creative culinary designs have emerged in the last 30 years. You know, decor and plating and charger plates and linens, but the actual logistics of how things were processed really has not changed that much. And it's at this juncture that we are reinventing that. So our team ranges from people that do catering parties in people's backyards for private clients, all the way to people that do major conferences for 5,000 people for a major conference coming into Boston, and how that catering, food and beverage component looks like. Again, our mission is to reinvent the industry operational standards with product and services, logistics and layouts, and again be the envy of the country. Some examples of that, just to give you more some finite examples we've come up with some of our research of robotic sanitized devices for large spaces that can sanitize an entire room, of very large spaces, and be assured that clients are going into a very hygienic environment. Reinventing the now antiquated past hors d'oeuvre scenarios, which really we evaluate that. And even thinking, prior pandemic scenario, during flu season, is it a best practice to have past hors d'oeuvres that are an inch away from each other that people are grabbing? So we've actually realized beyond this pandemic, best practices should be evaluated for whatever kind of virus is out there, that someone can go home to an elderly and infect them and perhaps get them ill to the point of deceased. And one other thing I wanted to mention is our future of this task force is making sure that government officials, clients, and attendees understand that our industry as catering leaders will not open up as business as usual. We are creating standards beyond the requirements that we're getting from our government officials that are the finite details of scrutinizing our process of product, service, and creating new models. One similarity we'd like to make is similar to the security standards post 9/11 when you go into the airports across our great country. Those standards have been ever changed, the security standards in airports. Whether we abolish a terrorist group, we don't know the next terrorist group that will reemerge. So those security measures at airports, we all understand, are forever changed for the future. And as catering leaders and professionals, we will be adapting and changing our food and beverage catering standards, not just to accommodate this pandemic, but to accommodate future outbreaks and sanitization and transmission of viruses. Again, our mission is to give clients, attendees, and government officials confidence with our newly invented model of product and services. That I also invite people that are on board of the reopening committee to invite food and beverage catering professionals in my organization to attend that, so you can have a reassurance of what we've thought about in terms of the finite details beyond guidelines that you have thought about, that reassures you that we have taken this to the nth degree. Our organization of this catering task force is about being solution oriented and making sure that clients, government officials, and attendees, which is so important. You know, we can have the opening of government officials understanding our standards are well and respected, and have thought health-wise to the different type of events that we do, and we can have our clients be on board. But if the actual attendees do not feel comfortable in that environment, you know, the show will go on, but we won't have the attendance there. So that's key. I also would like to encourage and respectively ask media that when you hear of great, you know, resolution and adaptations to this event industry and caterings coming up with innovative ways to produce events that aren't the old realm of how things used to take place, that you take note of that, and we expect you and would appreciate you giving publicity of that. Far often we see publicity of things that go south and people that are not following best practices, but we welcome applauding best practices that are in favor of our industry and client confidence as well. That is all. Thank you very much for having me today, and I think this collaboration is wonderful. Thank you.